So it's been a very nail-biting week on the side of Brexit, but it looks like something good might just happen on or before October the 31st, before we have the final countdown on Brexit. This has to do with the discussions between the Irish Prime Minister and Prime Minister of the UK, Boris Johnson. So let's ask Juliana Olayinka, my colleague in our London studios, for a few questions. It's been a tough week, Juliana, trying to follow every hour, every day, every minute of this Brexit week. Wrap it up for us. Where are we at the moment? It looks like some silver lining somewhere there, up there. Just hope we can grab it before October the 31st.
Good morning, Bosun. Well, the headlines out of London this morning is that a Brexit deal may indeed rise out of the ashes. It was last week that the French President Emmanuel Macron, as well as the EU Council President Donald Tusk, gave today, Friday, as the deadline to try and get a deal done. Now, we don't exactly have a deal, but, you know, people are still talking. And yes, you said it. That's because of the meeting yesterday between Boris Johnson and the Irish leader, Leo Varadkar. They spoke, and surprisingly, miraculously, at the end of that meeting, both leaders did say they do feel like there is a pathway to Brexit. A lot of people are still puzzled exactly how they're going to sort out the trade in the island of Ireland. But alas, negotiations are still ongoing. The UK's Brexit negotiator Stephen Barclay, he will be meeting with the EU chief negotiator Michel Barnier later today. And really, in that crucial meeting, we will see and will determine whether or not this last-minute Brexit optimism is just a flash in the pan or it has some solid foundation.
So is the pound sterling still shining on that news of what the two prime ministers spoke about yesterday, what you call the pathway to a very nice and easy political divorce with the EU on October the 31st?
Well, Leo Varadkar, the Irish Prime Minister, he had been one of the most serious voices coming out of Brexit talks. And the fact that he yesterday said that he thinks there's a pathway to Brexit saw sterling jump the highest it has in 7 months. And it traded at about $1.24, which is fantastic. It's moderated down a little bit. But, you know, there's still a seesaw going on with Brexit at the moment, and there's going to be lots of ups and downs until that 31st deadline. But it seems as if the city are kind of using the $1.20 to every British pound as a benchmark, and anything above that at the moment is good. But yesterday was a fantastic day, and clearly that pushed the FTSE down, because the equity markets at the moment is down about 20 points.
Yes, I can see a little shine on your face there when you talk about the sterling. Everything is about the currency exchange rate, isn't it?
Absolutely, everything is about the currency exchange rate. We've had some poor numbers from the UK over the past couple of months, and the economy has really been the biggest story about this Brexit anxiety, and sterling has really suffered over the past few months, particularly with foreign investors. So anytime sterling is good, it's particularly good for the FTSE 250, because, of course, we know that the FTSE 250, which is the second tier stock market in the UK, is mainly made up of British companies. So as soon as that goes strikingly high.
I got that. I got that. But there are still concerns out there, Juliana, about this whether we have a deal or no deal Brexit. Automakers, aircraft manufacturers still have their concerns.
Of course, and the main story at the moment coming out of the UK is Nissan. Now, Nissan's chief executive, Gianluca De Ficchi, he was giving a tour to some media outlets yesterday in Nissan and the UK's biggest car plant, which is in the north of the country in Sunderland. Now, that car plant hires about 6,000 people. And in the wake of a no-deal Brexit, we've seen from Operation Yellowhammer and from other business leaders that it's likely that exports and imports coming into the UK will be charged a levy of 10% on tariffs. And he said that, you know, Nissan just wouldn't be able to cope with that. This is particularly worrying because, of course, we've seen over the past couple of years, especially after that 2016 referendum, that several car plants in the UK have shut down. They've ceased trading and they're taking their operations overseas. And Nissan, not only do they have 6,000 workers working within that large Sunderland plant. They also support about 35,000 jobs around the city and around the UK. Of course, as well, this statement that he made yesterday evening comes after a further announcement saying that night work, which in the UK, if you work overnight, you usually get the bulk of your salary, will cease to happen. So it's particularly worrying. Although there are hopes that a deal can be made, there are still big business leaders that are saying in the event of a no deal, we don't know if we'll be able to continue trading in these shores.
Okay, Juliet, just save the rest of your bullets for afternoon, past lunchtime show, Business Incorporated. Have a good day. Thank you so much for coming through on Business Incorporated, my colleague from our London studios. Let's take a break. We'll come back and finish off on this final trading day of our market week.